Hey, did you know a newborn sneeze could send a first-time parent into a full-blown panic spiral, wondering if it's a cold, an allergy, or something way worse? That tiny achoo can feel like a siren blaring in your sleep-deprived brain. But here's the raw truth. Most of what's freaking you out about your baby right now is probably normal. I've walked through those same late-night worries, and I'm here to pull you back from the edge with 5 hard-earned lessons to cut through the stress of parenting a newborn. Let's dive into why your heart races over every little thing and how to stop it. So let's peel back another layer. Are you secretly counting every sneeze or clocking every minute your baby spends at the breast, thinking something's gotta be wrong? I get it. Those moments of doubt creep in like uninvited guests. Sneezing, for starters, isn't the red alert you might think. It's just your baby's built-in vacuum cleaner, clearing out dust, funky smells, or random air particles from their tiny nasal passages. Think about this. Babies breathe mostly through their noses, so a sneeze is their way of hitting the reset button. Sometimes even popping open a nostril squished shut during a feed. I've watched countless parents flinch at every achoo. But unless it's paired with a fever, cough, or runny nose that won't quit, you're likely fine. If those extra symptoms do show up, don't play the guessing game. Call your pediatrician fast. Now, breastfeeding? That's another stress bomb. If your little one's only latched for 5 to 10 minutes, you might think they're starving. But hold on. Time doesn't tell the story. It's all about your milk supply. How fast it lets down, whether the flow's a trickle or a torrent, and if your baby's got a solid latch or is just half asleep and distracted. Picture this. One session might drag on for 40 minutes, another's over in 5. Both can be perfect. The real test. Check if they're gaining weight, soaking diapers all day, and their poop isn't hard little pellets. If those boxes are checked, breathe easy. I've sat with moms who've cried over this, thinking they're failing, only to realize their baby's just fine, taking exactly what they need and stopping when full. It's not a stopwatch game. It's a trust game. And trust me, I've been there, staring at my own baby, wondering if I'm messing it all up. But these little signs, they're your roadmap to calm. Let's keep unpacking. There's more that trips us up, and I've got the real talk to get you through. All right, let's lay the foundation. Why do we stress so much? And what's actually normal with a newborn? Parenting a tiny human is like stepping into a storm with no umbrella. You're bombarded with a million what-ifs because you've never done this before, and every coo or cry feels like a code you can't crack. I've been in those trenches, pacing at 3 a.m., wondering if I'm missing something critical. So let's break down the 5 big triggers that send new parents into overdrive. Sneezing, short breastfeeding bursts, the fear of spoiling with too much cuddling, those weird sleep noises, and obsessing over developmental milestones. First, sneezing. Already touched on it, but let's go deeper. It's a reflex, just like ours, kicking out irritants. A study from pediatric research shows newborns sneeze up to several times a day just to keep their airways clear, especially since nose breathing is their default for the first few months. I've seen a dad nearly call 911 over a sneezing fit, only to learn it was just a dusty room. If other symptoms creep in, fever over 100.4 degrees Fahrenheit, relentless coughing, don't wait. Get medical advice. Next, breastfeeding duration. Beyond what I've said, know that the American Academy of Pediatrics notes babies adjust feed times based on hunger and energy. Some days they're marathon feeders, others they're sprinters. I remember a mom friend tracking every minute on an app, exhausted, until a lactation consultant pointed out her baby's steady weight gain and 6 wet diapers daily. That's the proof they're fed, not the clock. Third, holding your baby too much. The myth of spoiling them is old-school nonsense. Research from the Journal of Child Psychology shows responsive cuddling builds secure attachment, which wires their brain for emotional stability. I've watched a nervous parent hesitate to pick up their crying newborn, scared of bad habits, only to see that baby calm instantly in their arms. Proof it's not spoiling, it's safety. But balance matters. Laying them down for free play builds motor skills. Think of a baby kicking on a mat, grasping at a toy, slowly mastering their little limbs. That's growth, too. Fourth, sleep noises. Newborns aren't quiet sleepers. They grunt, whimper, even cry out in active sleep, which is half their snooze time. Unlike us adults, they don't have sleep paralysis during REM, so they twitch and fuss while dreaming. I've hovered over a crib myself, heart pounding at every sound, until I learned to wait a beat. Often, they settle right back. The National Sleep Foundation backs this. Unnecessary interventions can disrupt their cycle. Last, milestones. Every baby's timeline is their own. Rolling over can happen anywhere from 4 to 7 months, per CDC guidelines. I've seen parents compare their kid to a neighbor's, spiraling into worry when their little one was just fine within the range. But red flags exist. If certain skills aren't hit by key ages like 3 or 6 months, it could signal delays needing early help. These 5 areas. They're where stress lives, but they're also where knowledge can set you free. I've lived these fears, seen them in others, and I'm here to map out the terrain so you don't stumble blind. Let's keep going. There's a twist to this you might not expect. Now, here's a curveball to shake things up. What if holding your baby isn't just about comfort, but the very foundation of their future independence? Sounds backward, right? But let's unpack this. The fear of spoiling a newborn by picking them up every time they cry is a trap so many fall into. I've seen it tear at parents' confidence. You might think, if I keep holding them, they'll never learn to self-soothe. They'll cling forever. But flip that script. When you scoop up your baby, soothing their wails with your warmth, you're not creating a needy kid. You're building a fortress of trust. Studies from developmental psychologists show that babies with secure attachment, formed through consistent comfort, actually grow more independent. Why? Because they know you're their safe harbor. Imagine a toddler wandering off to explore a park, glancing back to see you're there, then boldly stepping further. That's the payoff. Security breeds courage. I've watched this play out with a close friend who was terrified of over-cuddling. Her baby cried non-stop those first weeks, and she'd hesitate, hands trembling, thinking she'd ruin him. But once she started responding without guilt, holding him close, that cry turned to calm. Months later, he was the kid happily playing solo at daycare, knowing she'd be there at pickup. That's not spoiling, that's wiring a brain for confidence. And here's the other side. Don't feel chained to constant holding. Lay them down when they're content. Floor time isn't neglect, it's a gym for their body and mind. Picture your baby on a soft blanket, legs kicking wild, reaching for a rattle just out of grasp. Each stretch strengthens muscles for rolling, crawling, walking. Sensory play, touching different textures, hearing new sounds, fires up cognitive growth too. The American Occupational Therapy Association notes independent play in infancy boosts problem-solving skills by toddlerhood. I've seen a parent nearly break down, guilty for needing a coffee break, only to watch their baby discover their own toes during those free minutes. That's a win for both of you. So hold when they need it, step back when they're good. It's not a tightrope, it's a dance. And trust me, learning the steps changes everything. let's push deeper into what really tests us. Here's where it all peaks. Let's face the two heaviest worries head on. Those bizarre sleep noises and the pressure of developmental milestones. First, sleep. If you've ever bolted upright at 2 a.m. because your newborn sounds like a tiny bear grunting in their crib, you're not alone. I've been there, hovering, barely breathing, wondering if something's wrong. Here's the deal. It's normal. Newborns split their sleep 50-50 between quiet and active phases. Active sleep is their version of REM. But unlike us, they don't lock down their muscles with sleep paralysis. So they wiggle, grunt, whimper, even flash a random smile or frown while totally out. The National Institute of Child Health confirms this is just their brain processing the day, not a cry for help. Picture this. Your baby's in their bassinet, little arms jerking like they're conducting an orchestra, letting out a soft that could be mistaken for distress. Step back. Watch. If the noises don't ramp up or turn to full cries, they're likely still dreaming. I've made the mistake of rushing in too soon, only to wake a perfectly sleeping baby and start a 2-hour reset. Wait a minute. Literally. If they're just stirring in active sleep, they'll often settle. But if the sounds grow louder, eyes pop open, they're up. Go to them. This pause and observe trick saved my sanity, and it can save yours. Now, milestones? That's the bigger beast. Every parent I've known has side-eyed another kid at playgroup, wondering why their baby isn't rolling, sitting, or babbling on the same schedule. Here's the hard fact. Babies aren't robots. The CDC outlines ranges, not deadlines. Rolling over can happen anywhere from 4 to 7 months, sitting up from 6 to 9. I've seen a mom crumble because her 5-month-old wasn't rolling like her friends, only to have hers master it at 6 months, right on track. Comparison is a thief of joy and logic. Focus on your kid's progress. Celebrate their first wobbly head lift, not someone else's timeline. But, and this is critical, there are non-negotiable red flags. By 3 months, they should make eye contact or react to sounds. By 6, they should respond to their name or show interest in toys. If these aren't happening by the upper limit of the range, it's not just slow. It could signal a delay. Early intervention, per pediatric studies, can close gaps fast if you act before 12 months. I've witnessed a family ignore subtle misses at 6 months, thinking it'd pass, only to face bigger challenges at 2 years. Don't wait. Track those key markers at 3, 6, 9, and 12 months. If something's off, call your doctor. I've got resources on exact red flags by age. Check the links below for specifics. These 2 areas, sleep and milestones, are where stress can drown you or knowledge can save you. I've felt that weight, seen it crush others, and I'm telling you, knowing what's normal versus urgent is your lifeline. Hold tight. There's a lighter note coming. Now let's take a breath and smile for a second. Because amidst all this worry, there's pure magic in your baby's quirks. Think about those sleep noises we just unpacked. Instead of jumping every time your little one grunts like they're wrestling an invisible monster, picture this. They're curled up in their crib, tiny fists twitching, letting out these hilarious little snorts, as if they're dreaming of chasing a butterfly or stealing an extra cookie. I've stood over a crib, exhausted, only to crack up at a sudden humph that sounded like a grumpy old man. It's not just funny, it's a reminder they're alive, growing, processing their wild new world, even in sleep. Or take their first clumsy attempts at movement during floor time. I've watched a baby kick so hard at nothing, face scrunched in determination, only to accidentally flip over and look shocked at their own power. It's like they've just climbed Everest, and you're their biggest fan. These moments aren't just cute, they're your reset button. When the stress creeps back, lean into the wonder. Remember the first time you saw them smile in their sleep, lips curling up for no reason at all? I've caught myself staring at that, forgetting every worry for a full minute. Or the way they stare at their own hands during play, like they've discovered alien technology. I've sat with parents who shared these snapshots. One dad couldn't stop laughing about his daughter's sleep-talking squeaks, mimicking a cartoon mouse. He said it was the only thing getting him through sleepless nights. So next time you're spiraling over a sneeze or a missed milestone, pause. Look at your baby. Find that one weird, wonderful thing they do. Maybe it's a goofy frown while feeding or a dramatic sigh after a cry. Let it ground you. I've learned to cling to these tiny joys like lifelines, and I've seen them pull others back from the edge too. Your baby's not a problem to solve. They're a story unfolding. Savor the messy, funny, heart-melting bits. They're what make the hard stuff bearable. So let's wrap this up tight. You've got 5 keys now to unlock some peace. Sneezing is usually just a cleanup crew, not a crisis. Short breastfeeding sessions are fine if weight and diapers check out. Holding your baby builds trust, not dependency. And floor time builds skills. Sleep noises are normal, active dreaming, so wait before rushing in. And milestones have wide ranges, but red flags at key ages need action. Trust your gut, watch closely, and don't hesitate to call a pro if something feels off. You're not alone in this chaos. I've been there, and I'm rooting for you. If you found this real talk helpful and want more to ease your parenting ride, hit that like, subscribe, and notification bell. Your support keeps me sharing. Fair warning, content like this can vanish from platforms, so don't miss out. Join now. And hey, drop a comment. What's the quirkiest sleep noise your baby makes? I'm dying to hear your stories.